Hi, I'm AwesomeJohn22, and this is my long-awaited by no one third video review. This time I'm focusing on the third set of 3 Legion class figures that I picked up way back when I started doing this about 2 months ago. Yeah, stuff and things came up. I kept pushing it off. You know how things are. Not gonna let that happen again, I can tell you that. Way out of practice. Anyway, today we are focusing on the Movieverse Wreckers, the last of my Autobot collection for my desk, which you can see the rest of it is right over there with a very menacing looking devil trident behind it that I bought in a moment of weakness. I'll review it though if you ask me. Anyway, the Wreckers, they look good. They look like a team. You can say what you want about the Movieverse update of these beloved comic book characters. I honestly don't know much about the comic book characters. I keep meaning to look into it. Maybe once I do, my opinion of these guys will change, but I really like them. I think they're a lot of fun. You can see we have Topspin, Leadfoot, and Roadbuster. Most sources say Roadbuster is the leader of this group. I honestly don't know. They didn't really seem like they had a chain of command in the movie. So I put my favorite in the middle, and that's Leadfoot. I really like Leadfoot. They're good little Legion figures. You can see here they've got pretty much the standard articulation, at least in this case. Leadfoot here has knees, which is nice. There are obviously some high points, and then there are some low points. But yeah, let's get started off with the low point. That is Topspin. You can see. I'm sure. I'm just gonna say it. I'm sure most of you have seen this figure in stores already. Probably passed him up. You probably decided to pass him up as soon as you started seeing images of him online. His articulation includes up and down at the hip and up and down at the elbow. And I guess this could be considered shoulder articulation, but I don't consider it shoulder articulation. And he has a little chompy claw, which is kind of cool. Overall, I like the look of this figure from the front. He has some great molded detail. See if I can focus in on it a little bit. My lighting situation is still terrible. I'm still working on it. Things will get better, I promise. As I learn, I'm learning. You can see he's got some exhaust pipes up there, some engine bits. What looks like weapons maybe molded into his shoulders. That little round thing there might be his steering wheel. I don't know. Make of it what you will. It's good detailing. Even his face with his little dreadlocks and stuff. That's pretty cool. Then you turn it around and you see that not only is he obviously not in his weaponized alt mode when in alt mode, but the entirety of the car minus these rear bits here are just right there. They are hanging off the back of the car. And while he looks pretty good from the front, and it does keep the transformation simple and inexpensive, it also kind of ruins the figure for me. I'm still not as disappointed with him as I could have been. I want to stress that point. I thought I was really going to hate him. I only bought him to complete the set. Overall, though, I do think he's at least decent enough to buy if you like the Wreckers and you want a complete set of them that you can carry with you, keep on your desk, keep on a small shelf. Transformation's exceedingly simple. You fold his lower arms down, fold his feet up to make the rear spoiler of the car, plug his legs together, like on every Legend/Legion ever, then fold up the two halves, and they will plug together and plug into the rear. And there you have him. He looks pretty cool. He's a Chevy Impala, I think, NASCAR racer. Not that big into NASCAR, honestly. Though I am big enough into NASCAR to know he is exceedingly devoid of sponsorship stickers. Rolls fine. He's got a nice change of pace, mind you. The back of a car underneath him rather than the front. Lowe's. I don't know who drives the Lowe's car. Somebody will tell me. I'm sure. Good painted detail. You can see there's some metallic flaking in his windshield paint to make it more interesting, and it carries through into the windows. Pretty good. But then you will also notice that as the numbers transition between the white and the blue paint, you can clearly see underneath the yellow which tone is underneath. And that is really the problem with painting yellow over anything. Overall, though, from what I know of NASCAR, this is a pretty good looking NASCAR. Especially a pretty good looking vaguely Hot Wheels scale NASCAR. They got the Chevy logo. He has another sponsorship somewhere. Not entirely sure what that is, but it's there. You can see he's got some like rivets here where they've reinforced stuff. It's pretty cool. Keep getting him out of frame. I'm trying not to do that. Like I said, out of practice. Anyway, not much to be said about him. He's kind of the low point of this lot. So let's go on to the next low point, which is not really a low point because it's a great figure. And that is our good friend Roadbuster, who is very dark and is going to cause me all kinds of trouble as I'm filming because, like I said, my lighting setup is still terrible. He has a saw. He has missile launchers molded into... Hold on, let me try and focus this better. It's not really showing up, but I promise he does have missile launchers molded into his shoulders. The plastic on him is just such a dark green. It's giving the camera a lot of trouble. Anyway, he is the let me try something. He is the representation of the ball cap wearing hillbilly NASCAR fan. He is wearing a ball cap. I mean, he's nice. His articulation's good. He's got kind of knees, but not really. He's got hips. He's got shoulders. No elbows, which is kind of the one thing that Topspin has over the others, is that he does have elbows. But really, that's the only thing he has over the others. You can see he's got his molded detail is just as good. There you can see the missile launchers there. His molded detail is just as good as Topspin's. I guess they just had more money to put into this one. You can see he's got all kinds of car parts here. He's got an engine in his chest. Decent face sculpt, if you can make it out. Really small face, though, so it's kind of hard. Especially with the visor over it. He has hands molded in there. And he's got this little clip. Topspin had it too. It's a little weapons clip. So if you buy like a Cyberverse commander, you can clip their weapons to these guys' hands. And so they could give them weapons in like special 2-packs and the like. Anyway, let's get on to his transformation. Let's just get right to it. The saw, it's a little tricky. You have to kind of keep it out of the way. And overall, it's pretty standard. Let's actually start by pegging his legs together. Of course, because you can't have a Legend or a Legion that doesn't have legs that peg together. Then we fold them up. And this one gives me trouble. I don't know why, but attaches there. Still got the heels raised up there, but it's not really that big a deal. Now you take his arms, rotate them around, and accordion them all the way back so that his missile launchers end up back here, pointing up so they can kind of fire up in an arc and hit his enemies. And you fold down this piece that was on his back, and it becomes the front of the car, complete with a Gatling gun. So you can see this was supposed to be like the front of the car in robot mode. This is the actual front of the car. So he's got a false chest like many Optimus Primes. Still cool. You see his engine is molded in there very nicely. He's got his number. Oh, this here actually folds across here. If you look, there is this edge here kind of carved out so that there's a place for that to sit. Or you can actually, this is kind of like something I like to do, rotate it around and then bring it down so that as he's driving along he kind of saws your legs off. I kind of like it. Anyway, I do like that they gave it a place for storage. I don't like that the ball joint is just so horribly visible there. You can see he's got the protective, I don't know what you call it, like wire mesh. His windshield has a similar metallic gleam to top spins. He's got the Chevy logo. He's got a sponsorship there. In there, I'm pretty sure those are the only ones though. Nice Autobot symbol, which I don't know. I don't know if Topspin had a single Autobot symbol on him anywhere. If he did, I missed it. Cool little car. He's a little wider than some Legions, and the side is a little wobbly on mine. It's supposed to kind of push in there and sit. This one does pretty nicely. For some reason, this one just doesn't. Pretty sure that's a one-time quality control thing. I don't think you would have a problem with it. And overall, I think this is a great little figure. He's got all these wonderful, gritty-looking weapon details all over him, and the Gatling gun's very cool, and the missile launchers are very cool. He rolls fine despite all the little problems he has with things holding together. And he's green. I love green as a color. But yeah, there he is in scale with his teammate. They're essentially the same car, and when you kind of look at like the top of Topspin next to the top of Roadbuster, you can kind of see that they have a similar enough shape that they could still be the same car, just one is partially transformed, which is cool. Now that those are done, let's get on to my favorite out of the set. Leadfoot here is probably my favorite of the movie Wreckers in general, just because I like the idea of a chubby Autobot. It's something you don't see often enough for it to be cliche, and it seems to work every time it shows up. Take Ratchet in Transformers Animated, for example. See, he's got a decent back, not a lot of kibble. He looks a lot like his movie model, which is nice. Short, stubby legs like the Legion version of the twins should have had. I already mentioned earlier, great articulation, though his head is just molded onto this bit here. It is not a separate piece, much like Topspin's, which is kind of a bummer. And if you look here, you can see his doors. Well, you can see approximations of his doors molded into his chest. So he also has a false chest. I guess the only one that doesn't is Topspin, since his character model's chest wasn't made from any visible car parts. Kind of odd. But yeah, his transformation is probably simpler than Roadbuster's. I'm actually kind of trying to remember how to transform him now, because it's been a little while. Obviously, this whole gut piece is the front of the car, so it comes up. These rotate around, legs plugged together, of course, and fold up in place. You can see they fit right in there. They come up a bit like Roadbusters did, but they fit very nicely, and they don't lock in anywhere, but they fit nice enough that it doesn't really matter. Next to accordion his arms back, much like Roadbusters. So there's quite a few similarities to Roadbusters' transformation. The difference is his arms peg in completely, and they stay quite nicely. You can see his hands are kind of folded up there. You can see the robot on the bottom, but that's not unusual. He's weaponized too. He's got a Gatling gun. He's got these little heat-seeking missiles, like you would see on the underside of a fighter plane wings. He's got like exhaust bits here. And all of this is open to what's underneath the hood, and yet there's no like molded in panels of where this bit folded up into. I find that kind of odd. Overall though, very nice. I think they call them stealth mode or whatever. You can see the same sponsorship as on the other two. Chevy logo. He also has an Autobot symbol, but it's not visible in robot mode. I don't think Roadbusters was either, except maybe it was on his knee or something. And his number. And I like, again, he looks like he could be the same car as the others, just with parts moved around. He's, again, in a very good scale with the others. You look at him next to Topspin, he's maybe a little bit longer than he should be. But he's pretty good. And they look good together, though I still wish that Topspin were in his stealth mode like the others. Overall, though, the Wreckers are really nice. That was horrible. Are really nice once you get them together. If you like them at all in the movie, or if you just like good small Transformers, I would recommend picking them up. I really like them. You can obviously tell that I really like them because I've been gushing about them for like 10 minutes now. But yeah, I'm just gonna call it. That's the review. Final verdict, go get them.